All right, let's stretch. First, we're going to put our hands on our hips and do some neck rotations. You can do this for 8 times one direction, and then, of course, we have to change and do 8 times the other direction. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Then we're going to take our hands and do some wrist rotations, one direction, and then the other direction. Then you're going to go to your elbows and make big circles, elbows and down one direction for 8, and then also the other direction for 8 counts. So we're going to be doing head to toe, total body stretching. Then we're going to take our full arm circle going forward. You can take a staggered stance or switch your legs up, get your legs moving forward and back. And of course, backwards for 8. Big swings back, really open up your chest and your arms. Then you're going to go side to side, crossing in the front and in the back, trying to almost see if you can clap your hands in the back, really stretching out that chest. Then we're going to take a wide stance and swing our hips side to side with our arms following, really twisting the body, standing tall so we get a nice, good back rotation. Then we're going to go side to side, going up and then falling, up and down, getting a little bit of an angle there, bending our knees, warming up our lower body as we get ready to transition to the hips. So big hip circles, really sticking your feet into the ground and twisting one direction. And then, of course, rotating the other direction. Don't be afraid to move the upper body too. And then from here, we're going to bring it down to the knees so you can bring your legs together. Big knee circles, one direction for 8 counts. And of course, we have to do the other side. Can't forget, we must be even. Let's go. And then from here, we're going to go down into our ankle rotations. Now, this is a little weird, so you can do side to side, full circles. You can little stretch your toes out, do the other leg. Same thing, side to side, circles up and back. And then, of course, stretch your little toes. Sometimes you might get a little crack. Then from here, you're going to stick one leg out to the side, bending the other leg, really making sure you pull your toes up so you get a nice hamstring stretch. You can do a little bit of a pulse for 8 seconds. And then switch to the other side. So bend, a slight bend in the other leg while straightening the leg, pulling the toes back, really stretching down, getting a nice hamstring stretch, almost like a flat back. So that way you get a really nice active stretch. Then we're going to go down a little bit longer, so opening your legs, toes are straight. One toe is going to turn upwards, trying to get your heel touching the ground, stretching out those hips and those hamstrings. You can either have your hands both in front, one to the side, hands up, one hand on each leg, whatever feels comfortable to you, making sure that you're really stretching. Then you're going to keep that same length bent, turn over to the side, making sure that your knee does not go over your ankle, straightening the back leg, putting both hands on the inside of your leg, really stretching that hip flexor. Then we're going to turn back to the side split, toes are up, really working on that mobility of the hip and the lower back, twisting back. You could add a little pulse if it feels nice for you today, and then twisting back again. Then we're going to go and do the other side. So we're going to slip over to the other side. Remember, toes up, other foot totally on the ground, either hands in the front or hands up or hands in the front and the back, wherever you need to put them to keep balance. Then we'll turn, keeping that other leg still bent and straight, making sure that the knee does not go over the ankle, both hands on the inside of your leg, so you get a really nice deep hamstring stretch. Making sure you keep that back leg as straight as possible to stretch your hips and your hamstring. And then turning back over. Yeah, we're feeling it now, I'm sure. And then turning back over, stretching out that hip flexor again. And back over to the side split. Shake your hips out first, reset them, do little hip circles. Okay, so now we're gonna go into like a front stance or an apkubi. So you're gonna take about 1, 2, 3 steps forward, and then turning your hips and your toes to the same direction, flat back, straightening your arms and leaning over that front leg. Now, depending on how flexible you're feeling right now, you might not be able to touch the ground. That's totally fine. Just reaching for that space in front of you. Then if this feels good, you can lift up your back heel, getting a deeper stretch in that front hamstring. And then even lifting up that front toe. Once again, our hamstrings and our legs are something we use a lot in Taekwondo, so you want to make sure that we're really stretching those. Then when you come up, we're going to turn to the other side. So once again, other leg forward, 1, 2, 3 steps forward, flat back, twisting your hips, squaring off your body, stretching down, reaching to the forward part of our leg, reaching to the ground in front of our leg, lifting up the heel when it feels comfortable, first the back heel. And then lifting up the front toes, really getting your chest down towards your front thigh, keeping your back straight, really feeling the good work here in your legs. Okay, we're going to go down to take a knee. So try to make sure that your back leg, your toe is in a push-up position. Your front leg and your front knee are in front. Straighten your front leg. Toes are up, flat back, hinging forward on the hips, stretching your chest down, trying to get your chest to touch your front thigh. Flat back. Now, once again, you might not be able to go down super far. That's totally okay. Do whatever feels comfortable for you today. Then after about 8 seconds, you're going to shift your weight forward, pushing your hips, bending the front knee, and sweeping your arms forward, really sinking into that hip flexor. And then push back, tip over, hinging at the hips. So you can go back and forth as many times as you'd like here. I really like this stretch. It's really good for hips and hamstrings and just warming up your body for your practice. So once again, just going back and forth, taking about 8 seconds in each position, breathing deeply in through your nose, out through your mouth while you're doing all of these stretches. And then one more time going forward, really stretching up to the ceiling, sinking your hips down into the ground. Yeah, we got it, guys. All right, this time you're going to put both hands on the ground on the other side of your leg and push your front foot as best you can. We're going to do side splits. Don't be afraid. If you cannot go low or it's not feeling well today, you can always just sit up in that other position and stretch down. But once again, we want to stretch into that front kick and side kick position. So if you're already down, you can stretch forward or you can just keep your hands up. There's always levels to all of your stretching, okay? And then, stretching, really sinking those hips into the ground. If you want, you can do a little turn to the back. Once again, if you are not all the way down, that is absolutely okay. You can totally be up in that seated, hinged position that we were working on earlier, okay? Then sliding back, getting nicely back into that. Okay, now let's do the other side. So we're going to go into that kneeling position, straightening that front leg. Toes are flexed up to the ceiling, hinging forward at the hips, stretching that chest down, flat back to our front leg. Making sure that back foot is in a push-up position, stretching our leg forward, bending our front knee, stretching that back hip flexor, reaching up to the ceiling, sinking and reaching at the same time, taking a good breath here every time you move positions. Then we're going to push backwards, toes up and flexed, hinging down. So remember, if you are not feeling the side splits today, you can always stay in this position. This is a really good hamstring and hip flexor stretch, which we definitely need, especially as we want to keep our mobility as we get older and make sure that we can continue doing Taekwondo and any other sport and have a healthy lifestyle, making sure our hips and our hamstrings are strong. Our legs do a lot for us, so it's important to stretch them out and give them some love and care. Okay, we're getting ready here. We're going to do a few more seconds, and then we're going to get ready to go down. So putting one hand on either side of your front leg, keeping that back leg where it is, and pushing, sliding that front leg forward. Make sure you're breathing here. Remember, stretching should be a little uncomfortable, but it shouldn't be any really sharp, jagged pains. So if you're feeling sharp, jagged pains, please don't do this yet. Remember, take care of your body, listen to your body. So stretching down, remember, if you're not feeling the full split today, you can always be in that kneeled, seated position, hinging forward, okay? You can even go forward and backwards, bending and straightening. Or if you're with me here, stretching, you can stay here. Really stretching down, trying to keep that back leg, your knee, and your back instep, the top of your foot down on the ground. All right, now let's move on to a little bit more leg stretching. So you're going to go into a wide position, almost like a bigger than a horse stance, flat back, reaching over and down, trying to keep your weight in the back of your legs. So really sinking into your heels. You can kind of see my toes are wiggling a little bit. They're not heavy on the ground. I'm really stretching my hamstrings. I walk my hands over to one side, trying to pull my chest down. Don't worry about getting your nose to your knee. Really think about getting your chest down. It's okay if you can't touch the ground either, because even if you can't touch the ground, you can still reach your chest towards that knee, stretching out those feet, stretching out those hamstrings. Go a little bit wider. You can heel toe out and keep heel toeing out, sliding into that standing middle split, trying to keep those legs as straight as you can, heels up, hands down on the ground. You want to try to keep your hands close to your legs. If you're uncomfortable, you can get your elbows down to the ground, or you can stretch out your arms straight and really pancake on the floor. Remember, whatever feels good in your practice, these are all options. You absolutely do not have to just copy me on here if you're struggling or you're not feeling it in your body today. But the big thing here is you want to make sure you're breathing every time you're going through any motion. You can sit down on the ground here. We can breathe in, take a deep breath in, and lean forward again, really stretching those front hips. Taking those deep breaths in, making sure we're breathing through all of this. And then, just like that, we're done. So bring your legs in. You can shake them side to side. And repeat this as necessary. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for stretching with me. Okay, bye.